Hi, my name is Heather Castillow, and I'm one of the instructional coaches for Madison School District. And I'm going to talk to you a little bit about in this training about how to use your ABC magnetic letter kit and your Killpatrick phonemic awareness kit to help students in our intervention programs. So part of your kit looks like this. You have the magnetic letters. You have enough for one for each child in your group. You have enough for boards and also enough markers for them and erasers. Now the other part of the kit is the phonemic awareness kit for Killpatrick. The whole program is in the white book called Equipped for Reading and Success. But in your kit, we just put this part in it, and that will be talked about in another video of how to use that. So this kit and what you're going to be doing in intervention is made out of routines, and on this paper right here that it's already spelled out for you. And we're going to talk about some of those routines and why you would want to use them. The first is reason why. We're going to first talk in this video about option 1. And in this video, you're going to talk, we'd use option 1 if your child has this: a phonological awareness problem or an alphabet fluency problem. If they're not quite fluent with understanding their letter names and sounds. This mostly could be used in first or fourth grade, but really it's going to be used quite a bit in first and probably during their first round of intervention. Now, if your child has a letter name and sound problem of knowing the letter names and sound, not just be fluent with knowing them, you'd be using a different intervention. And this intervention right here is used in kindergarten and first grade, but if they don't know their letter names and sound and also have a phonemic awareness problem, and we'll have another video on that one. That program used tracing, picture clues, and more multi-sensory help to help those children understand those letter name sounds. But if it's a phonological awareness sound with an alphabetical fluency problem, that looks more like I've tested and I know my letter names and sounds, but the problem is my working memory. It's not bringing it up quickly enough, and I don't quite know it. I'm not fluent with those sounds. So let's talk about option 1 and how we can use this kit to help. Now, in option 1, you'll see a series of different routines, and we'll talk about these routines one at a time. With these routines, you can mix and match them according to what your children needs. So one at a time, they look like this. The first one is your blending routine. And your first thing you're going to do is use the 95% blending routines. Teach from these, and it's a scripted lesson, and your SPED teacher should have these available. In these routines, they might take a week to 2 weeks. It depends on how fast your children move. Then after they've gone through those routines, it should only take about 8 minutes or so to go through a lesson each day. Then you can use the magnetic letters. And each child should have their own board of magnetic letters. And you set your boards according to this. You put the letters you want to use up here. Usually at the beginning, you're just going to have one vowel with the rest of the consonants. And as you do this, make sure that each person will have them, that you set out your procedures to make sure that they do not get ruined, they don't get thrown across the room, any of those things. One of the things I do with my children is I say, this is where the letters live and this is when we play. So when we're done playing, we always put them back to where they live. And as we work, we move them down here to play. But at the very beginning, before they even use any of these, you're going to have to give them some time to do this, to play. They really need time just to play with these letters without destroying them, but to play with them. Otherwise, they're not going to really pay attention to you too much. But each child, as you do it, is going to be able to use one of these words. And you can have them put them down and do what you were talking about in the blending lessons, but now with real words that they can actually manipulate and use. So some things that you could do is you can have them make real words, nonsense words, word chains. They can even write the words on those boards. There's some markers in that kit, or they can make them actually taking the magnetic letters and pulling them down. And at the beginning, they're probably going to be doing CVC words. So your 8-minute little blending routine at the beginning of the lesson might look like this. So on Monday, you might do real words with short A and making them. On Tuesday, you might do nonsense words that are short A and making them. But on Wednesday, maybe you're going to mix it up a little and you're going to have nonsense and real words. But maybe this time you're going to write them. And then on Thursday, you could do word chains with short A. The next week, you could do the exact same activities, but this time you change one of your letters off of your board, take the O off and put the A off and put the O on, and you can make different words. Now, a little bit about word chains and how to do word chains. Many of us know how to do word chains, but word chains is where we just take the word and we're only going to change one letter. So example, you had your children do cat, and you have them sound it, spell it out, have them put cat on the board, cat. And he said, this is cat. Now, we're only going to change one letter and make it say mat. How are we going to do that to make it say mat? Mat. Mat. What's that one letter that has to change? And I'm like, it's that first one. It doesn't work. And we change that. And you can do word chains. Anytime you're doing word chains, you're going to go, you want to start with the easier word chains going to harder. That means our word chains first start out with just changing the beginning letter, then it changes the ending letter, and the hardest thing to change in a word chain is going to be that medial vowel. Okay, our next routine in our program is the phonological awareness routine. In kindergarten, we use mostly the PAL lessons. In first grade, during the first round of intervention, we do use the PAL lessons. But after that, if a kindergartner, first grader still has a problem with phonemic awareness, then we need to go something that's more tier 3, and we're going to be using Killpatrick. And in a later video, we'll show you how to use the Killpatrick system. So our next routine is going to be practicing the automaticity of writing difficult letters. You can tell a child needs practice with automaticity if when you ask him to write the letter, he does this. He's just not coming to and he's not comfortable. So some of those you can use the boards, either the markers and the erasers to help practice and make sure they're automatic. If you're running shorter and listen, this might be the one thing that you might not be able to do because they do in first grade quite a bit of writing and practicing with their penmanship. So this might be one of the routines you might have to leave out. Now the last routine is this. It's the 1-minute timing of letter names and fluency. And that you're going to take out this page. There's one of these pages in your kits for each child. Now we're not really timing them and taking a score for 1 minute, but what we are is we're going to give them a minute or two and see how many times that we see how and practice basically our letter sound fluency, where they're going to take the sheet and they use their finger and they go p, b, w, t, is. And we do it all together. We're practicing that every day because we're actually just getting fluency on it, not learning the letter name sound, but practicing with fluency. And if they want to do the whole sheet, let them do the whole sheet. If they want to do a minute, they do a minute. After a couple weeks, you might want to not start on the first letter, but you might want to start a couple rows down. But this every day will get them practicing and saying their sounds so they can get a little bit more fluent. Now, if you have any questions on this program, please contact me or contact another coach, and we'd love to help you.